At Smithfield Foods, we're dedicated to producing good food responsibly. As a global food company, we're committed to doing business in a sustainable way throughout our entire supply chain. That's one of the reasons why we were the first major protein company to set an ambitious goal to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions across our entire supply chain 25% by 2025. To reach that goal, we created a new platform called Smithfield Renewables.
Smithfield Renewables is really the platform that we use to ensure that we make our carbon reduction goal. As part of that, you'll have biogas projects, you'll have fertilizer optimization, grain supply chain projects. You'll have a lot of different things that come together.
We're partnering with local contract farmers and leaders in the bioenergy field for a groundbreaking project underway in North Carolina. Together, we're converting manure from the hog farms into renewable natural gas.
The way we do that is we capture the manure in the buildings, in the underfloor of the buildings, and then that manure is flushed or transferred to an anaerobic digester or a covered lagoon where anaerobic digestion takes place and solids are broken down. Once those solids are broken down, it releases methane gas. That is captured in the digester or covered lagoon, and then that gas is then moved from there and transported to a central processing facility to be converted into renewable natural gas that can be used by our community.
This renewable source is expected to produce enough energy annually to power about 1,000 homes for an entire year.
This is the first time that we in the state of North Carolina have been able to put natural gas from any source into the pipeline and serve the customers in North Carolina.
We really like this model because it allows farmers to be involved, even smaller farmers to be involved in renewable natural gas production. And we feel like this is the most economical way to provide renewable natural gas to customers.
John Kilpatrick is a contract farmer for Smithfield Foods. He's been operating his North Carolina farm for 40 years. Participating in the project makes both environmental and economic sense for farmers like John.
The benefits would be the economics, selling the methane, the gas, which would normally be a waste product, and why not capture it, use it, make a benefit from it. It's just a matter of putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
And at Smithfield Foods, we're putting those pieces together to form a seamless, sustainable supply chain from farm to table. Our Manure to Energy program is a part of that bigger picture.
Smithfield has long been a leader in the area of sustainability and innovation in our industry. These type of projects just further allow us to explore opportunities beyond what we've already done.
Learn more about Smithfield Renewables and about our other sustainable practices at smithfieldfoods.com/renewables.
Hello, my name is Jim Webb, and I work with Smithfield Foods, and I am the Director of Environmental Health and Safety and Public Affairs. And I'm excited to come and talk to you today about some exciting projects that we have going on here in Milford, Utah, as well as across the company. We all know what natural gas is, but what is renewable natural gas? Well, renewable natural gas is energy that's made up by capturing methane from hog farms and dairy farms, landfills, and other sources. It's the cleanest energy in the U.S. because it removes more greenhouse gases from the atmosphere than it releases. It's also better than zero carbon. It's actually carbon beneficial. So, these projects produce greenhouse gas reduction, clean energy for customers. There is a revenue stream for the family farmers, and it also improves the waste management. In order to create RNG, we first capture the methane from the farm by collecting it in large anaerobic digesters. Then that biogas, is taken to an RNG refinery where all of the impurities are scrubbed out of the biogas to create a 99% pure methane stream. And then that methane is then, or that RNG is then delivered to homes and businesses by an existing utility gas pipeline. In 2018, Dominion Energy and Smithfield Foods joined forces to create Align RNG, and they committed as part of that joint venture to invest over $500 million over 10 years to capture methane from Smithfield's hog farms, which is enough clean energy to power more than 70,000 homes. The 4 initial projects are in North Carolina, Utah, and Virginia, with more projects to come. At the first of this presentation, we watched a short video on one of the projects going into North Carolina. We chose to show that video not because it was of Utah, but because the principles that are contained in that video are very similar to what's going on here in Utah. Let's talk just a minute about reducing greenhouse gas emissions. RNG is carbon beneficial because it removes 25 times more emissions from the farm than are released when customers use the gas. Over the next 10 years, Align RNG will reduce those greenhouse gas emissions from the Smithfield farms by about the same amount as taking 500,000 cars off the road or planting more than 40 million new trees each year. RNG produces clean energy for consumers. RNG provides reliable energy 24/7, unlike a lot of the other renewable energies like solar and wind, which only produce during the light or windy times. RNG will provide energy around the clock. Manure management is typically a significant cost for family farmers, but RNG projects allow farmers to turn this cost into a revenue stream. Family farmers can invest in building the infrastructure on their farms and then share in the long-term revenues. So what does a typical project look like? A typical project consists of a cluster of about 15 to 20 hog farms. The hog manure from each farm is stored in anaerobic digesters, which break down the manure over a 12 to 18 month period, which produces methane gas. The methane gas is then captured from the digesters and sent to a centralized conditioning facility where it is cleaned into about a 99% pure methane, and then the methane is put into an existing distribution system for delivery to local homes and businesses. As part of the Align joint venture, there are 4 projects that are going on currently. There's 2 in North Carolina in Sampson and Duplin counties, and then there's 1 in Waverly, Virginia, and then there's also the one here in Utah, in Milford, Utah, which we'll talk a little bit more about, and I'd like to focus on. But the Milford one began construction in 2018 and is currently operational. These 4 projects combined will provide enough energy for 14,000 homes annually, and then is equivalent to an emissions reduction of planting 7.7 million trees. I'd like to talk about the project that we have in Milford, Utah. Of the 4 projects that we currently have going on, the Milford project is the only project that we have started from a clean slate. These farms were built specifically with digesters in mind, and they were brand new. The other 3 projects were all retrofits on existing farms and existing lagoons to create anaerobic digesters. So Milford is the first one. In Milford, we have installed 26 different farms. Each one of those farms has a permitted capacity of 9,200 hogs, feeding 26 individual digesters. And so those digesters then create the biogas, which then gets transported to a centralized conditioning gas scrubbing center, which you can see here on the lower picture with the 3 green boxes that are next to the big white building. That is the place where all of the gas gets scrubbed out, and then it gets loaded onto a collection pipeline, which then leads to a high pressure transmission pipeline. Those digesters have now been in operation for about a year and a half. We have had some issues with those digesters, mainly that we put in a lot of fresh water. In order to install the cover, you have to install it at a certain level, and so in order to get to that certain level, we had to put in a lot of fresh water. And because we had to put in so much fresh water, it took a little while for those digesters to really start taking off. We had to seed those digesters with some dairy manure to create some methanogens, so that it would digest the manure a little more efficiently and produce the gas. But that has now been done, and we are seeing good gas production. You know, the weather now this time of the year is starting to cool down, and so we are seeing some gas production wane a little bit, but overall it's been a really good project. Thank you for your time and attention, and I have appreciated the opportunity that I had here today to share a little bit more about our exciting project in Milford, Utah with the Align Renewable Natural Gas. Thank you.